any coping mechanism that we have is, we call that a trauma response, a coping mechanism. And at the time that coping mechanism was developed, it was the most intelligent survival mechanism and resource. And I gave an example with Karen, but like for me as a young person, I was in several ways really discouraged from speaking up. So one of my coping mechanisms would be in a moment like that, or that reminded me of that, I would be quiet. And that was a coping mechanism. It really helped me to just like, you know. And then in the course of and so sometimes when I have difficulties in my life, it points me to that. And also in the course of my life, one of the ways I've responded to that is I would speak anyway. So I would feel the moment where my natural response would be to be quiet, and then I would speak anyway. And that is what it is. I mean, in moments I could say that's been empowering, and it's still within the dynamic of the trauma. Here comes the siren. Fire truck, send a little prayer. So part of what we're up to in a healing context is to presence a difficult moment, maybe presence the initial response. In the example I gave, it was to be quiet. Presence, maybe another response is, well, now I won't be quiet, I'll talk over it. But yet the response is still there. So that the trauma is still not healed. Like the frozen part in my nervous system still shows up. And now we can see this in a big way in the world too, where there's this side of the divide and there's that side of the divide. But no matter which side of the divide we're on, the divide is still there. Like the divide is not being healed. So part of what we're looking to do in our presence is how to touch the source in a deep enough way. Like in the example that I gave of needing to be quiet, it would be touching the source of what that was like for me when something happened. And I learned originally to respond to it by being quiet. Like that's what needs attention in me. Because once that has been kind of presenced and felt through, the phenomenon doesn't arise again in the same way. So I no longer need to either be quiet or to speak past it, because it's dissolved, it becomes integrated past. For some reason, I'm getting very excited, but I think it's because of the process of healing that so excites me. And I think like the place to start is with the thing that's difficult. And my sense is, so Louie, you've already identified, like you've already kind of gone past that first step. You've identified something that's difficult. You've identified, oh, this has repeated. And you've identified, oh, the source of this. When I wonder or contemplate on the source, it feels so encompassing that I can guess it might be from an infant, or that also could be a pointer. It might be something ancestral or collective, because in any of those cases, I don't draw up a moment in memory, because it's maybe before or outside of when my mind was yet even able to hold a conscious memory. And so, I think in that moment is that kind of thing, that kind of level becomes available through practices like this, where we're connecting with each other, or we connect with someone, that's holding space for us. What we're looking to do, because what I'll say is often in those moments that are pre-verbal, for instance, the moments are so big. Like sometimes I have those moments. It's something I've been working with somebody that I work with regularly that presences and supports my own healing process. And so what I found is like when I'm in those moments, I often feel like I'm in the moment. It's like I'm swimming in a fog or I'm in the moment. It's not that I'm present to the fog, like I'm a little thing in the fog. Do you know what I mean? And so it's often through support, through someone else. This is where co-regulation comes in so handy, that someone else can support me to presence the initial, in my case, I'm saying fog, but it might not be fog, so that together our nervous systems can breathe with something that my nervous system was overwhelmed with. And again, that could be because it's from when I was an infant. It could be because it's ancestral. It could be because it's collective. So, and then once somebody has supported me to presence the level of something, more and more on my own, when it comes up, I can notice, oh, there's that thing, there's that fog. I feel like I'm swimming in a fog. Oh, I might get up and move my body like a fog, or I might sit in meditation and like get curious about that fog, that pre-verbal thing. And more, then I can start to feel grounded and resourced, and it becomes something within my presence. So I think it's a process, Luya, and I think we probably all have. I think I can pretty confidently say, I think we all have like our version of this. And how we engage with that is a very core part of what we're doing, what we're gathering to do.